Harlem, New York City. The year is 1972. The streets hum with life. But in the shadows, a new power is rising. A man who will become one of the most feared and untouchable figures in the history of American crime. This is the story of Leroy Nicky Barnes, the man they called Mr. Untouchable. Born on October 15, 1933, Leroy Barnes grew up in Harlem, New York. A bright student in his youth, his world was anything but easy. His father, an abusive alcoholic, made home life unbearable. Like many seeking escape, Barnes turned to the streets and to drugs for survival. In his early 20s, Barnes himself became addicted to heroin. But prison would change everything. A stint behind bars in 1965 became his turning point. His addiction ended, and his mind shifted to something far more dangerous: power. It was in prison that Barnes met key figures who would shape his destiny: Crazy Joe Gallo of the Colombo crime family and Matthew Madonna of the Lucchese family. Here he learned the intricate art of running a criminal empire, lessons that would later define the Harlem underworld. By 1972, Barnes had returned to Harlem with a vision. He would consolidate power, unify the fragmented gangs, and control the drug trade like never before. To do this, he formed the Council, a 7-man syndicate that would operate like the Italian-American mafia, but with an African-American face. Alongside Barnes were Joseph Jazz Hayden, Wallace Rice, Thomas Gaps Foreman, Ishmael Muhammad, Frank James, and Guy Fisher. Each member controlled parts of Harlem's heroin trade, each accountable to Barnes. Together, they were unstoppable. Barnes's empire expanded rapidly. By 1976, the Council's influence stretched across New York, Pennsylvania, even into Canada. Hundreds of street-level dealers worked under their command. Barnes's wealth exploded. Over $50 million in assets, from luxurious cars to hundreds of tailor-made suits, all funded by the heroin trade. Mr. Untouchable emerges. Barnes's power was legendary. He was so confident in his invincibility that when the New York Times sought a photo, he posed himself, knowing the world was watching. This arrogance earned him the nickname, Mr. Untouchable. But behind the glitz was a dangerous game. Barnes routinely evaded arrests, taunted law enforcement, and orchestrated high-speed chases, all to cement his untouchable image. The empire and the violence. The Council didn't just sell drugs, it ruled through fear. Contract killers, including Robert Willie Sanchez Young, enforced the syndicate's dominance. Anyone who crossed Barnes or the Council risked death. Harlem had a new king, and the streets knew it. Barnes was brilliant and ruthless. He combined business acumen with sheer audacity. He ran his empire like a Fortune 500 company, but every decision could mean murder. But no empire is invincible. In 1977, President Jimmy Carter personally ordered the Justice Department to intensify the case against Barnes after his bold New York Times feature. Within months, the man who thought he was untouchable was arrested and charged with drug trafficking and murder. Sentenced to life imprisonment in 1978, Barnes faced the collapse of everything he had built. The Council, once a formidable syndicate, began to fracture. In prison, Barnes discovered betrayal. Guy Fisher, his trusted lieutenant, was having an affair with his mistress. The Council had broken its own rules. Barnes made a decision that would shock the criminal world. He became a federal informant. He gave authorities a list of 109 names, including fellow council members and even his wife. 44 traffickers were indicted, 16 convicted. Barnes himself admitted to 8 murders, but this cooperation would eventually shorten his sentence. While incarcerated, Barnes transformed himself. He earned a college diploma with honors, taught English, and even won a national poetry contest for federal inmates, a man of intellect hidden beneath a violent exterior. In 1998, after serving over 20 years, Barnes was released under the Federal Witness Protection Program. His life would never return to the streets of Harlem, but he remained a legend, a symbol of audacity, power, and eventual redemption. In 2007, Barnes published Mr. Untouchable, My Crimes and Punishments, sharing his story with the world. He also appeared in a documentary of the same name, revisiting his rise and fall with unmatched candor. Barnes passed away from cancer in 2012. His death was not immediately reported due to witness protection, but his story, a tale of ambition, betrayal, and survival, continues to fascinate the world. Leroy Nicky Barnes, a man who dared to rule a city's underworld and for a moment became Mr. Untouchable. Harlem kingpin, from prison to poetry, Barnes's life is a chilling reminder. Power can elevate you, but it can also destroy you. This was the story of a man who lived on the edge and whose legend will never be forgotten.